28.
And we will be reading Jeremiah 51 and 52.
Thank you.
Dear Sunday!
Nope. It is Wednesday.
Oh, dear Wednesday!
You still get to see Tana.
Yeah.
You saw that smile. All right. Y'all ready? We have quite a bit of reading. And hunting for promises.
We're going to
You're going to see Tana, your little friends. At church. Yes.
No, get.
51, the destruction of Babylon. Thus says the Lord, I will raise up against Babylon and against those who dwell in led from me the spirit of a destroyer, and I will send foreigners to Babylon that they may winnow her and empty her land. For in the day of trouble they will be against her all around. Let not him who bends his bow bend it, and let him not rise up in his scale armor. And do not spare her young men, utterly destroy all her host. Thus the slain will fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and those who are thrust through in her streets. For Israel has not been forsaken, nor Judah, by his God, the Lord of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and each of you deliver his soul. Do not be cut off in her punishment, for this is a time of the vengeance of the Lord. He will render to her a recompense. Babylon has been a golden cup in the hand of the Lord that made all the earth drunk. The nations have drunk of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, perhaps she may be healed. We applied healing to Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us each go into his own country. For her judgment reaches to heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. The Lord has brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord our God. Sharpen the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord has raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, for his devices against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple. Set up the standard against the walls of Babylon, make the watch strong. Set up the watchmen, prepare the ambushes, for the Lord has both devised and done that which he spoke against the inhabitants of Babylon. O you who dwell by many waters, abundant in treasures, your end has come, and the measure of your end. The Lord of hosts was sworn by himself, saying, surely I will fill you with men as with locusts, and that they will lift up shouts of victory against you. He has made the earth by his power. He has established the world by his wisdom, and has stretched out the heaven by his understanding. When he utters his voice, there is a multitude of waters in the heavens, and he causes the clouds to ascend from the remote parts of the earth. He makes lightning with rain, and brings out the wind from his storehouses. Every man is ignorant by his knowledge. Every founder is humiliated by the graven image. For his molded image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. They are vanity, the work of errors. In the time of the punishment they will perish. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things. And Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name. He says, you are my battle axe and weapon of war. For with you I will break in pieces the nations, and with you I will destroy kingdoms. And with you I will break in pieces the horse and its rider, and with you I will break in pieces the chariot and his rider. With you also I will break in pieces man and woman, and with you I will break in pieces old and young. And with you I will break in pieces the young man and the young woman. I will also break in pieces with you the shepherd and his flock, and with you I will break in pieces the farmer and his yoke of oxen. And with you I will break in pieces captains and rulers. I will render to Babylon to all the inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil, that they have done in Zion in your sight, says the Lord. I am against you, O destroying mountain, says the Lord, who destroys all the earth. And I will stretch out my hand against you and roll you down from the rocks, and will make you a burned mountain. They will not take of you a stone for a corner or a stone for foundations, but you will be desolate forever, says the Lord. Set up a standard in the land, blow the trumpet among the nations. Prepare the nations against her, call together against her the kingdoms of Ararat, Minni, and Ashkenaz. Appoint a captain against her. Cause the horses to come up as the rough locusts. Prepare against her the nations, the king of the Medes, the captains and all the rulers in every land of their dominion. So the land trembles and sorrows, for the purpose of the Lord will be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without an inhabitant. The mighty men of Babylon have ceased fighting. They have remained in their strongholds. Their might has failed. They became as women. They have burned their dwelling places. The bars of her gates are broken. One courier will run to meet another, and one messenger to meet another, to show the king of Babylon that his city has been captured from end to end, and the passages have been seized, and they have burned the reeds with fire, and the men of war are terrified. For thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, the daughter of Babylon is like a threshing floor. It's time to thresh her yet a little while, and the time of her harvest will come. Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, has devoured me and crushed me. He has made me an empty vessel. He has swallowed me up like a dragon. He has filled his belly with my delicacies. He has cast me out. May the violence done to me and to my flesh be upon Babylon, the inhabitant of Zion will say, and may my blood be upon the inhabitants of Chaldea, Jerusalem will say. Therefore, thus says the Lord, I will plead your cause and take vengeance for you, and I will dry up her sea and make her springs dry. Babylon will become heaps, a dwelling place for jackals, an astonishment and a hissing without an inhabitant. They will roar together like young lions. They will growl as lions' whelps. When they become heated up, I will make their feast, and I will make them drunk, and that they may rejoice and sleep a perpetual sleep and not awake, says the Lord. I will bring them down like lambs to the slaughter, like rams with male goats. How Shishak has been captured, and how the praise of the whole earth has been seized. How Babylon has become an astonishment among the nations. The sea has come up over Babylon, and she's been covered with the multitude of the waves. Her cities have become a desolation, a dry land in the wilderness, a land in which no man dwells, through which no son of man passes. I will punish Bel and Babylon, and I will bring forth from his mouth what he has swallowed up, and the nations will not flow together any more to him. Indeed, the wall of Babylon will fall. My people go out of their midst and deliver every man his soul from the fierce anger of the Lord. Lest your hearts grow faint and you are afraid for the report that will be heard in the land. For the report will come 1 year, and after that in another year will become another report, and violence will be in the land, ruler against ruler. Therefore the days are coming when I will punish the graven images of Babylon, and her whole land will be humiliated, and her slain will fall in her midst. Then the heaven and the earth and all that is in it shall sing for joy over Babylon, for the destroyers will come to her from the north, says the Lord. As Babylon has caused the slain of Israel to fall, so at Babylon the slain of all the earth will fall. You who have escaped the sword, go away, do not stand still. Remember the Lord afar off, and let Jerusalem come into your mind. We are humiliated because we have heard reproach. Shame has covered our faces, for strangers have come into the holy place is of the house of the Lord. Therefore surely the days are coming, says the Lord, when I will punish her graven images, and the mortally wounded shall groan through all her land. Though Babylon shall mount up to heaven, and though she should fortify the height of her strength, yet for me will destroyers come to her, says the Lord. A sound of an outcry comes from Babylon, and great destruction from the lands of the Chaldeans, because the Lord has devastated Babylon, and destroyed the great voice out of her. When her waves roar like great waters, a noise of their voices uttered, because a destroyer is coming against her, even among Babylon, and her mighty men will be captured, every one of their bows are broken. For the Lord is the God of recompense. He will completely repay. I will make her officials drunk and her wise men, her captains and her rulers and her mighty men, and they will sleep a perpetual sleep and not awake, says the King, whose name is the Lord of hosts. Thus says the Lord of hosts, the broad wall of Babylon will be utterly broken, and her high gates will be burned with fire, and the people will labor in vain, and the nations become exhausted only for fire. Jeremiah's command to Seraiah. The word which Jeremiah the prophet commanded Seraiah the son of Neriah the son of Messiah, which he went with Zedekiah the king of Judah into Babylon in the 4th year of his reign. Now Seraiah was a quartermaster, so Jeremiah wrote in a single scroll all the evil that should come upon Babylon, even all these words that are written against Babylon. Jeremiah said to Seraiah, when you come to Babylon, then see that you read aloud all these words, and say, O Lord, you have spoken against this place to cut it off, that no one will remain in it, neither man nor beast, but that it shall be desolate forever. It will be that when you have made an end of reading the scroll, that you will bind a stone to it and cast it into the midst of the Euphrates, and say, thus Babylon will sink and not rise from the disaster that I will bring upon her, and they will become weary. Thus far are the words of Jeremiah. 52. The fall of Jerusalem reviewed. Zedekiah was 21 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Hamutal, the daughter of Jeremiah of Libnah. He did what was evil in the eyes of the Lord, according to all that Joachim had done. Through the anger of the Lord, this came to pass in Jerusalem and Judah until he had cast them out from his presence. Then Zedekiah rebelled against the king of Babylon. In the 9th year of the reign, in the 10th month, and the 10th day of the month, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came, he and all his army, against Jerusalem, and laid siege to it. They built a siege wall all around it. So the city was besieged until the 11th year of King Zedekiah. In the 4th month and the 9th day of the month, the famine was so severe in the city that there was no bread for the people of the land. Then the city was breached, and all the men of war fled and went out of the city by night by the way of the gate between the two walls, which was by the king's garden. Through the Chaldeans were all around the city, and they went by way of Arabah. But the army of the Chaldeans pursued after the king and overtook Zedekiah in the plains of Jericho, and all his army was scattered from them. Then they took the king and carried him to the king of Babylon at Riblah in the land of Hamath, where he passed sentence on him. The king of Babylon slew the sons of Zedekiah before his eyes, so he also slew all the officials of Judah in Riblah. Then he put out the eyes of Zedekiah and the king of Babylon, bound them in chains, and carried him to Babylon, and put him in prison until the day of his death. The temple burned. Now in the 5th month and the 10th day of the month, which was the 19th year of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard who served the king of Babylon, came into Jerusalem and burned the house of the Lord, and the king's house, and all the houses of Jerusalem. Even all the large houses he burned with fire. And all the army of the Chaldeans who were with the captain of the guard broke down all the walls of Jerusalem all around. Then Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, carried away captive some of the poorest of the people, and the rest of the people who remained in the city, and those who fell away, who fell to the king of Babylon, and the rest of the multitude. But Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, left some of the poorest of the land to the vine dressers and farmers. Also the pillars of bronze that were in the house of the Lord, and the strands, and the bronze sea that was in the house of the Lord, the Chaldeans broke and carried all their bronze to Babylon. The cauldrons also, and the shovels, and the snuffers, and the bowls, and spoons, and all the vessels of bronze which they ministered, they took away. The captain of the guard also took away the basins, and the fire pans, and the bowls, and the cauldrons, and the lampstands, and the spoons, and the cups, that was of fine gold, that was of fine silver. The 2 pillars, 1 seat, and 12 bronze bulls that were under the bases, which King Solomon had made in the house of the Lord, the bronze of all the vessels was beyond weight. Concerning the pillars, the height of one pillar was 18 cubits, and it was 12 cubits in circumference, and in thickness it was 4 fingers and hollow. A capital of bronze was upon it, and the height of one capital was 5 cubits, with network and pomegranates upon the capital all around, all of bronze. The second pillar also, and the pomegranates were like this. There were 96 pomegranates on the sides, and all the pomegranates were 100 upon the network all around. The Babylonian exile. The captain of the guard took Seraiah the chief priest and Zephaniah the second priest and the 3 officers of the temple. He also took out of the city 1 official who had charge of the men of war, and 7 men of the advisors of the king, who were found in the city, and the scribe of the commander of the army, who mustered the people of the land, and 60 men of the people of the land who were found in the midst of the city. So Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, took them and brought them to the king of Babylon, to Riblah. The king of Babylon struck them down and put them to death in Riblah in the land of Canaan. Thus Judah was carried away captive out of its own. These are the people from Nebuchadnezzar carried away captive. In the 7th year, 3,023 Jews. In the 18th year of Nebuchadnezzar, he carried away captive from Jerusalem 832 persons. In the 23rd year of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, carried away captive of the Jews 745. All the people were 4,600. Joachim released. In the 37th year of the captivity of Joachim, king of Judah, in the 12th month, on the 25th day of the month, Awel-Marduk, king of Babylon, in the 1st year of his reign, lifted up the head of Joachim, king of Judah, and brought him out of the prison, and spoke kindly to him, and set his throne above the throne of the kings who were with him in Babylon. Therefore Joachim changed the prison garments, and continually ate meals before him all the days of his life. For his allowance there was a continual allowance given to him by the king of Babylon, every day a portion, all the days of his life, until the day of his death. That is all Jeremiah.
We've finished Jeremiah.
I have over 7, but can I show 2?
Go ahead.
In 51, beginning, and I have all these Thus Says the Lord ones and other things, all of them, but at the beginning it says, Thus says the Lord, I will raise up against Babylon and against those who dwell in Lebanon, and I will send foreigners to Babylon, that they may foreigners to Babylon, that they may winnow her and empty her land. And then I could do 4.
Did you get anything?
I got 24.
You found something?
24.
Mm-hmm.
There was one I actually thought was really, really neat.
4.
It was verse 38, the very, very beginning of it, and it says, they will roar together like young lions.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
They will roar together like young lions. And you, Nathaniel? Alright. Okay, so bye.
Hang on, can I share one more?
That's all we have.
Can I share another one, please? No?
You could share another one in Hebrews. We'll go to Hebrews. Alright, because we're coming to 20 minutes now.
Okay, bye.
So bye.
This video, put a comment. Bye. Have a great day. Please subscribe.